Welcome everyone! In this video, we are going to be looking at some more Gen 9 Paldean Pokemon that we could potentially be seeing down the line in Pokemon Go. I love healthy speculation. I love doing these deep dives as I did in the other Paldean Gen 9 video. We're going to be looking at some Pokemon that have not yet been released, but could very well be released in the near future. We're going to look at their current movesets on PvPoke in the current game files, what they have right now. And of course, as per usual, we'll break those down and make a few suggestions on how to perhaps improve these Pokemon out of the gate upon release. So again, I love doing these types of videos, and without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright guys, we begin with Palfin. This Pokemon, very exciting. A Paldean Pokemon, pure water type, very interesting moveset on this thing. Very good stat product as well. It has a 2088 stat product. And to put that into perspective for you guys, Medicham is 2103, so only slightly less bulky than Medicham. It is about as bulky as Jellicent in the Great League. It does not have play in Ultra, unfortunately. The stat product just doesn't get high enough, but Great League is where its home will be. It's going to be kind of a mini Lantern in terms of its typing and stats. Not as bulky, but it's up there for sure. Has the stats to compete. This moveset is amazing. It's actually currently busted with Icy Wind and Acrobatics, and Counter as its fast move. Does also have access to some very subpar charge moves, Aqua Jet, Drain Punch, and Water Pulse. Those are all not very good at all. So let's look at why this thing is busted here really quick here. Let's put the twos on. So with this current moveset, this thing has an insane 75% win rate in the Great League. That is absolutely bonkers, my friends. There's no way that this can be how it is upon release. Let's look at the ones here. 80% win rate in the ones. That is absolutely nuts. Holy smokes. So as you can see here on the screen, because of that, we can't have this thing be broken right out of the gate. That would just throw everything all out of whack. So my proposed fix would be to not have it have Icy Wind, of course. That is what is kicking up this win rate through the roof here. And I would propose replacing it with Liquidation, a move that it can learn in the main series. And that would balance things out a little bit. So if we go to remove Icy Wind and put Liquidation on, now let's have a look at this thing here. Okay, now we're back down to earth. We go down to a 50% win rate in the twos. That is fine. 50% and up, very good. And we have a 59% win rate in the ones. So creeping into that territory, but we're definitely back down to earth. 59%, that's about where Lantern was before the rebalance. And let's look at the zeros here. Yeah, 61%. So creeping up there, but not broken. So Liquidation would be the way to go on this Pokemon. So with Liquidation, in the twos, we have, it's okay. We beat Registeel, which is absolutely wild. I would imagine because with the bulk, it can tank a Zap Cannon comfortably and not be farmed down. And the counters, of course, are doing super effective. We've got Dugong in the twos, of course. That's to be expected with counter. Diggersby, who is becoming quite prominent in the Great League. We get a nice win over Carbink. We need as many Carbink answers as you can muster. So any Pokemon that can provide some balance to Carbink is much welcomed in my book. Same goes for Steelix. We get a nice win over Steelix in the twos, as well as Gligar. So an excellent answer to the top meta right now, which is why I'm very excited for this thing. Now, let's look at the ones where it is far more impressive. So in the twos, we don't beat Medi. Okay, so let's type in Medi here and see what happens in the ones. We actually beat Medicham with both potential movesets. Psychic Medi as well as Pup Medi in this with Liquidation, my fix of Liquidation on this thing. So we're definitely cooking with Liquidation. It cannot have Icy Wind. That would that would be really, really, really broken. And a lot of people, I presume, would not be very happy. So yeah, this thing, very interesting. Very, very interesting Pokemon. One that I'm super pumped for right out of the gate. Counter, liquidation, acrobatics. Sign me up. This thing is amazing. So that is Palfin. A very exciting Pokemon that I hope to see very, very soon here. Let's have a look at another Pokemon. All right, guys, moving right along to another Gen 9 Paldean Pokemon that I am very, very excited to see come to Pokemon Go Battle League. We've got Spidops here. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. A pure bug type. Again, much like Palfin, has a very, very respectable stat product coming at 2010. 2000 and up is very, very good, solid bulk. Anything higher than 2000 is fantastic. So we've got the bulk right out of the gate. We've got the moveset as well. I'm totally fine with its existing moveset, guys. It has counter and bug bite, so counter would be the way to go. The newly buffed X-Scissor, as well as Grass Knot and Lunge. So with counter, it's recommended that you run X-Scissor. So it doesn't look like Lunge would see very much use, but I've got a fix for that, as you can see on the screen. I want to see this thing keep its existing moveset. The only change I would make would be to give everybody some variety, with Shadow Claw. Let's give people that variety with their team building so that they can mold their this Pokemon to their team building needs. But let's look at it with counter really quick. Not broken. Creeping up there, and the twos, we've got a 59% win rate. I always say what would raise an alarm with me is 65% or higher. I think that's worth examining on a Pokemon, maybe looking at balancing it out a little bit. So it's getting there, but not quite there. Very strong in the twos. And 63 in the ones. So it's creeping up there with counter. Not gonna lie, it's not gonna be completely broken because the bug typing is not the best. It's a solid typing, not the best, of course, with all the rock damage that is running rampant in the Great League. And a 54, so it's pretty average in the zeros. So that's it as it stands. Let's pop in Shadow Claw here. Like I said, let's keep everything as is. The only change, let's add some variety with Shadow Claw. Now let's look at this thing here. It can learn Shadow Claw in the main series, so this is absolutely possible. And in the twos, it's not as good as counter, but we all know Shadow Claw is amazing coverage in the Open Great League. So pretty average in the twos with Shadow Claw, but again, that variety is what's really nice. And we also have a 50% win rate in the ones with Shadow Claw. So not as effective as counter, but I would like to have the option to run it if I want to. So let's look at the zeros here. So it maintains that 54% win rate. But what's most exciting is if you add, that would make better use of Lunge here, guys. So Shadow Claw, as we all know, generates energy faster than counter. So now let's look. See, what I don't like is having a move existing in a Pokemon's move pool, but not ever using it because it's not most effective. So by adding Shadow Claw, my suggestion, that would make better use of Lunge. Now let's look at this thing here. Okay, we're getting up there. We're getting up to 65% win rate with Shadow Claw Lunge. We would have the counters to it in the meta. Bug typing is not the strongest, and 54% in the ones. So we're back down to earth in the ones with Shadow Claw Lunge. It's just another option, more variety that we can have on this Pokemon. And again, we still maintain a 54% win rate. So a little bit alarming in the twos with Shadow Claw Lunge, not gonna lie. But we've got adequate answers, guys. We've got rock types like Carbink, like Basti, of course. G-Fist still lurking a little bit. Diggersby with Fire Punch. We've got some answers to it, so I don't think it would be completely invincible. But let's look at some of these matchups here. What do we have here? Zeros. Let's look at the twos here really quick. So we're beating DD and Medi. That's what I really wanted with counter. Because if we put the initial moveset on here, I don't think we end up beating Medi, and that is a crying shame as a bug type, but I could be mistaken. I have been looking at a lot of matchups, as you can imagine. No, we still beat Medi! So that's fine. Even with counter, we still beat Medi, but Shadowclaw just shores up that matchup. And I'm all for introducing new answers to the top meta in the Great League. But I know many of you all know that by now. So even more dominant up against the two prominent psychic types in this meta. We're doing pretty good up against Swampert, keeping Swampert in check a little bit. Cresselia, we don't see a ton of in the Great League, but could rise to prominence as people catch on. Lantern, we are doing quite well up against Lantern. We need more answers to Metacham, Lantern, the top meta. The more new meta threats we can introduce and inject, the better off we will all be. Variety is the name of the game and keeping this very fun for everyone here. Azu, a Shadowclaw. We're doing quite well up against Azu, despite it resisting the fast activating charge move, but we have got that Grass Knot. We need to check Azu too, guys. Azu is out of control in Season 16. Holy smokes. Azu has never been stronger, so having another answer to Azu is quite nice. Let's look at the ones here. But yeah, I think you guys get it. So I think having the variety with this thing, with Shadowclaw would be amazing. With counter, we are still beating Jellicent, which is absolutely wild to see. Still maintain Swampert, still maintain Medi, not as dominant, but still have Medi. We still have Azu again because we've got that Grass Knot. So this is a Pokemon I'm very excited for. Speedops, I don't know if I'm butchering that or not. Let me know, guys. But I want to keep the existing moveset, just have a little bit more variety with that Shadowclaw addition to the moveset. I think the more variety we can have, the more fun we'll have because we can mold the Pokemon to suit our team's needs. So that is Speedops. And without further ado, let's have a look at another Gen 9 Pokemon. All right, guys, moving along. Another Pokemon from the Paldea region that I am very excited for. Houndstone. This thing is very interesting. It's a pure ghost type. And when it comes to the Great League, where Medi is king, the more ghost types we have in the meta, the better off and more happy people will be. So here is one that we could definitely see. You know, if they did a duo launch with this and Annihilate for Halloween, holy smokes, sign me up. I'm there for that for sure. But this Pokemon, honestly, I've got Mudshot up there, but honestly, its existing moveset is absolutely fine as is. I don't need to have it have Mudshot, but it would be interesting to see for sure. In fact, its current moveset is going to be most effective. So this thing has respectable bulk, okay? Not the bulkiest, coming in at 1857. To put that into perspective for you guys, that is Sableye bulk. XL Sableye is 1853. This thing out of the gate is 1857. So Sableye bulk in the Great League. Let's take a quick peek at Ultra because I think that's where its home would be. So in Ultra, we get 4,012 stat product. Like I said, for Ultra, 4,000 and higher, we're cooking with that, my friends. That is very, very respectable bulk in the Ultra League. So this thing has play in both the Great League and Ultra League. Sign me up. I will take that 1,000%. So let's look at this thing here. It runs Lick. It has access to Bite as well, but you'll definitely want that Lick with Stab, of course. Has access to Psychic Fangs. So can you imagine getting to those Psychic Fangs at a reasonable rate? Dropping that defense, further expounding that Lick damage with Stab? Now we're talking. That's an interesting Pokemon right there, if you ask me. And it has Shadow Ball with Stab. Also has access to Dig if you want some nice steel coverage. So let's look at it. It's recommending that we run Lick, Psychic Fang, Shadow Ball. Now, that is not blowing me away. A 40% win rate, 50% and up is what I like to see. So not the best, but it still has high utility. Obviously, as you can imagine, we're beating Medicham. Any Pokemon that can do that is A-okay in my book. The more answers we have to the top tier meta in the Great League, the more variety, the better off we will be, and the happier we will be. We beat Reggie in the 2s with this moveset. We beat Azu in the 2s with this moveset. Holy smokes. So, yeah, the win rate's at 40%, but we're getting the wins that really count most. Holy smokes, we're beating Basti with Shadow Ball, Lick, and Psychic Fangs. Let's go, guys. We're beating Carbink. Hello? Oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. It's going to be very interesting to see on this thing. Let's look at the ones here really quick. 2s are okay. The 1s are even worse, but let's see if we're still getting the matchups that matter most in the Great League, guys. I mean, if I'm... What can I say here? If I'm beating, I don't know, Swanna or losing the Swanna, I don't care. As long as I'm beating Medi and Azu, I'm fine. I don't care if I'm losing the Swanna. So that's usually what you see with these types of win. The win rates can be a bit deceiving at times, I suppose. We're still maintaining Medi, still maintaining Azu in the 1s. We pick up Gligar. That's amazing. That's very interesting. We do drop Reggie in the 1s. So yeah. But what I wanted to look at with this, it does also have access to Dig. What if we were to put Dig on in the place of Shadow Ball? I know that might sound like blasphemy, but let's see if that changes. It does. It shoots up to almost a 50% win rate with Dig in the place of Shadow Ball. I would imagine because Lick takes a while to charge up to the Shadow Ball. Dig's slightly less expensive. We're definitely beating Reggie, still maintaining Medi and DD. We're getting Frost Slash, Pelipper. Holy smokes, this thing is super exciting, guys. Lantern, if you could imagine with Dig, yeah, sign me up. We're still maintaining Azu. So it looks like Dig is going to actually be preferred in the Great League, guys. Let's look at the ones here. 38%, so slightly higher. So yeah, this thing, amazing. The win rate, a little bit deceiving because we are picking up the wins that matter most, the Pokemon that people use the most. We will take a quick peek at Ultra because I think this thing is going to be putting even more work in the Ultra League. 55% win rate, that is fantastic in the Ultra League in the 2s. We're beating Giratina Ultra, guys, with this Dig moveset. We don't even need Shadow Ball to beat Giratina. Holy smokes. Let's see here. Poliwrath we're beating the fighters. We're beating Jelly in the 2s. Let's go. Tapu Fini in the 2s. This thing is going to be amazing. Even more impressive in the Ultra League. Holy smokes. I would imagine we beat Cress as well for sure. Uh-oh. How did we get back? Why is Medi and... Oh, Machamp. I'm sorry. I saw Machamp and I thought I was looking at Medi. Holy smokes. I've been looking at this PV Poke Matrix for way too long, guys, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, we are cooking in the 1s as well. So this Pokemon, super exciting. Again, Mudshot, not much of an... Not an improvement over Lick, but would be very interesting to see. I don't need to see Mudshot on it, but it can learn it in the main series, and I always say the more variety, the better off we are. So that is Houndstone, and that about wraps it up for this deep dive, my friends. Like I said, I absolutely love doing these deep dives and taking a closer look at Pokemon. I love healthy speculation. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one as well. And like I said, we will be exploring more potential Pokemon that we could see down the line and looking at ways to perhaps improve them upon release. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.